Come on, Team Cowboys!
Angry Cowboys fan, are you down to ride? Angry Cowboys fan, are you down to ride? Drop a like on the video, go ahead and subscribe.
What's going on, Cowboys Nation and Angry Cowboys fans around the world? Y'all know who it is. It's your man, the Angry Cowboys Fan. And after watching and showing my support to our knowledgeable Cowboys content creators, as well as seeing comments from Cowboys Nation, I've recognized that the common thread in Cowboys Nation is complimentary football. So I got to give y'all my raw and uncut about this thread, Cowboys Nation. The common thread to do better in this organization, not just with an individual player, but we have to do better from the top down, from Jerry Jones all the way to us in Cowboys Nation. So let's get into this raw and uncut. Get ready for the Angry Cowboys fans, raw and uncut.
Being keeping it real, they keep it real, that's real.
Cowboys Nation, talking head shows saying that our players are softer than cotton. Hall of Famers as well as Hall of Fame staples for the Dallas Cowboys legacy saying that our wide receivers are running sloppy routes. Retired NFL players talking about receivers are, and I'm paraphrasing, worried about the hezzy too much instead of bursting into their routes off the line of scrimmage. Protection has been an issue here in Dallas. Business decisions on the field have been an issue here in Dallas. Where Cowboys Nation tends to go wrong is by placing all of their woes onto one or two players. Some misplace their rage on the most familiar person or position on the team. I read a comment and it stated that the Dallas Cowboys have to tighten up, but the next and final sentence talked about how Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb need to tighten up, that they need to correct their issues, the miscommunication, the remnants of the Baltimore blow-up still showing its ugly head into the bye. Nothing was mentioned about the issues that I stated before. Nothing said about the receivers needing to be able to gain separation through their talent while allowing the scheme to help them gain even more separation. We'll get into the scheme later, Cowboys Nation, but my point in saying that is if the Dallas Cowboys offensive scheme is to over-target CeeDee Lamb, we don't have an effective offensive scheme to even talk about. Watching the film where our offensive line struggle against stunts, where they struggle against picking up and recognizing the blitz. There have been too many free runners either hurrying our quarterback or outright sacking our quarterback. Pass protection breaking down, allowing the defenders to get a hand on the quarterback's throwing arm, causing the ball to sail. Not making it to the second level to allow our running backs to gain yardage. Our multi-year All-Pro future Hall of Fame right guard not having the greatest start to a season. Your right tackle continuing to struggle after a season-ending injury a couple of years ago. On the other side, you have two rookies and an All-Pro left guard. Who does subpar offensive line play affect? It affects your quarterback, which in turn affects the play currently being ran. This is why we talk about the battle being won at the line of scrimmage. Our offensive line has got to do better, Cowboys Nation. But tell me I'm lying. Real talk. Tell me I'm lying, Cowboys Nation. On the offensive side of the ball, if the line can't win, your quarterback can't win. If they're continuously getting beat on the line of scrimmage or out-physicaled by the opponents, that shortens the time that your quarterback has to read and distribute. It gives the running back less time to chip and shed. It definitely gives less time for your receivers to get in their routes and gain separation. The more time your quarterback has in a clean pocket, the better the outcome of the play. Just look at the way Daniel Jones was able to stand in the pocket and distribute the ball in the game against the Giants. Look at how Justin Fields was able to look in the pocket because our defense couldn't generate pressure. They were dealing the ball over there, weren't they, Cowboys Nation? Then the general consensus amongst fans and talking heads alike is to feed CD. Feed your second highest paid wide receiver, even to the detriment of your team. Throw jump balls, even if the wide receiver is facing triple coverage. Cam Newton said it best on First Take, and I'm paraphrasing y'all, but he said, if your offensive scheme is to feed CD, you don't have an offensive scheme. So, if our offensive scheme is to pass or feed CD, how can one do this when the most important aspect of the game is not holding up their end of the bargain? I think some Cowboys fans allow who's making the most money to dictate who's the most important on this team. To be completely real with you, I feel the offensive line should get paid the most because if they can't go, we can't go. Them followed by the quarterback, then the wide receiver, and then the running back. Sorry about that, running backs. Also, I feel like the line play on both sides of the ball gets overlooked because some fans are quick to blame a person sports media has told them to blame. Dak Prescott's a bum. Dak Prescott can't win the big one. We're never going to get over the hump with Dak Prescott. What does a quarterback need in order to succeed? Time in the pocket. That's where it starts first, Cowboys Nation. Then, if that first line of defense breaks down, the quarterback must rely on the halfback to pick up the leak. If that line of defense breaks down, then the quarterback must rely on his talent and his instinct to extend the play. Dak Prescott shouldn't have to get flushed out of the pocket a majority of the times during the game. With less time comes less of a chance to make correct decisions. Being hurried makes poor decisions. Interceptions, Cowboys Nation. And I know, Cowboys Nation, I know. People are going to combat what I'm saying by saying that Joe Burrow made it to a Super Bowl with a busted line. My two rebuttals on that: did Joe Burrow win said Super Bowl? And also, why is making it to the Super Bowl with a busted offensive line being considered as normal for Cowboys fans? That's not something that you expect your quarterback to have to do. That's why everyone was shocked that Joe Burrow was able to do it. Joe Burrow was the exception, the outlier. Just because a couple quarterbacks have done it doesn't make it the norm, Cowboys Nation. Just because a small group of people are able to climb Mount Everest doesn't make it the norm for regular people. Joe Burrow is the exception, not the rule. And this doesn't mean that Dak Prescott once again escapes accountability, Cowboys Nation. No, that's not what I'm saying. Dak Prescott has to work on his decision-making on the field. He has to work on his leadership on the field. If he feels that he shouldn't throw it to CeeDee Lamb, don't worry about the fallout between yourself and CeeDee Lamb. They can always come together and talk, especially after a win. Because I've noticed that players are more approachable after a win. You can see that through the media as well as if you played or shared a locker room with anybody. I've also seen people in the past complain about dink and dunking, and Dak should start slinging the ball around the field. With slinging the ball around the field comes more reckless abandon with said ball. You put the ball in the harm's way, the more that you sling it around the field. Then when Dak gets intercepted, he can't read a defense. It's him being a bad quarterback. This is why I wish Dak Prescott would stop trying to be a company man and just take control of the damn team. Take control of this offense. You're going to get blamed for the results anyway. I know Jerry be pissed because he wants to be the captain of the ship, but when you have numerous captains of the ship, you have absolutely no captain of the ship. You've got anarchy, and nothing thrives with anarchy present, whether it's in society, in a locker room, or even in your household. You have anarchy, you'll be doomed to fail at the goals that you set forth. In this case, the goal to win a championship. But Dak has to get mentally tougher when it comes to football. He's a warrior dealing with the things off the field, but with the things on the field, I believe Dak Prescott does shrivel up at times. It's never more often than not. It's just at the wrong time during the wrong games. Case in point, throwing interceptions during crucial moments or at crucial spots on the field during the game. All turnovers are not created equal, Cowboys Nation. But like I said in my earlier TikTok, this game is all about complementing each other. This is why we harp about complementary football. That's why that's a thing in the sport of football and not just the NFL. The thing is, this phase doesn't just pertain to the phases of the game like offense, defense, and special teams. This should apply to every aspect of the organization. The front office complements the head coach. The head coach complements the offense and defensive coordinators, which in turn complements the position coaches that complements the players who complement each other on the field. Each player in this organization complements each other. We will get the desired outcome that we want, Cowboys Nation. This is what I mean by it starts at the top. This is why football is the ultimate team sport, and for a fan to blame one person, one player, one position on this team, it's pretty disingenuous, and frankly, it's kind of short-sighted, Cowboys Nation. Also, the players have to be given a scheme that's successful, and that starts with your coaching staff. If they give the players a predictable scheme, there's no way that it's going to be successful on the field, Cowboys Nation. If opposing defensive coordinators can easily spot your tendencies and scheme for them, how will your offense have the element of surprise on the field? They can't. They won't. When you see a wide receiver wide open during the game, you can thank his offensive coordinator for scheming said receiver open, for calling a play that takes advantage of the defense that your opponents are currently in. This type of scheming helps players with separation as well, Cowboys Nation. And we wonder why the Dallas Cowboys are amongst the worst when it comes to receivers gaining separation in the league. A prime example of talent only being able to take you so far that you need your offensive coordinator and your position coaches to complement your skill set. But this is where I feel that we're going wrong with the organization, Cowboys Nation. Some Dallas Cowboys fans will go directly to the player and give them the business instead of looking at the position coach or following the chain of command all the way to the top. Maybe those position coaches are not on the same page. Maybe they have the wrong person in that position, and it's really starting to show, Cowboys Nation. You know, it's very unlikely for a player's talents to drop off and then pick up each year. If there's an inconsistency, the first place that you want to look is at the position coach and if their plan is working for the position. What type of experience does that coach have? We all know that the running backs coach is a buddy to Mike McCarthy that had little to no experience with being a running backs coach. This is where loyalty gets involved, Cowboys Nation. Instead of being loyal to your buddy Mike McCarthy, the head coach may have to put someone in that position to help the team, to complement the running backs. Your owner should see this as well. Remember, we place blame on players like Tony Pollard. Guess what, Cowboys Nation? Tony Pollard is 63 rushing yards away from having the same amount of rushing yards the entire Dallas Cowboys team has combined. He currently has 400 yards while the entire Dallas Cowboy team has 463 yards. Do we still think Tony Pollard's washed, or was it something else, Cowboys Nation? Could it be the offensive line, or could it be the coaching? Could it be the running backs coach? Because we know it's not Tony Pollard, but we were so quick to blame him and get him off the team. My point to all this is this. If you want to find the answer to a complex question, it's not going to be in the most obvious place a lot of the times, Cowboys Nation. We look at the most obvious places like blaming Dak Prescott or Mike McCarthy. What if the blame lies somewhere else, Cowboys Nation? What if it's the link in the chain that you didn't suspect? I encourage all Dallas Cowboys fans to think outside the box on how the team can get better, because you can say get rid of this player or get rid of that player, but when that player goes to another team and balls out, you can all but guarantee that it wasn't him that was the problem. At that point, you're too late. The player's gone, right, Cowboys Nation? So let's stop blaming the wrong players and get down to the real issues. This way, we can get back to playing true complimentary football. This has been your man, the Angry Cowboys Fan. What y'all have to think about what I had to say about complimentary football? Do y'all see where I'm coming from when I talk about this? Y'all know what we doing. Let's go ahead and talk about it in the comments section. If you're digging the channel and want to help get it out to even more Dallas Cowboys fans, drop a like on this video and share it with anybody that you know is a Cowboys fan. If you are DC for life and want to help me reach the milestone of 10,000 subscribers, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell to be notified whenever I go live, release a video, podcast episode, or Madden 25 and College Football 25 gameplay. When we win, it's not because of just one individual player. When we lose, that same thought pattern applies, Cowboys Nation. If you're expecting complimentary football, you have to have the mentality that if you can win together, you can also lose together. If you play football, you were taught that there's no I in team, right? There's also no I in lose or loss either. This has been your man, the Angry Cowboys Fan, and I'm out. Dang, Angry Cowboys fan, you done made it through the entire fire video. But if you want more content, you can definitely go to this video right here. Or if you want the latest episode of the Angry Cowboys Fan podcast, you can go right here. But whatever you do, like, share, and subscribe to the channel, but remain DC for life.